At some point this year, you've probably heard of the recent advancements in artificial intelligence. If you haven't, what's it like not being on the internet? Do you feel happy? How do you feel pleasure if you're not constantly consumed by flashing lights on a screen? AI is undeniably cool, and it's already making our lives significantly easier. I probably didn't even have to write this script. I could have just asked ChatGPT to do it for me in my sophisticated but irreverent style. When we look at concerns around AI, common talking points are usually things like the effect it'll have on the economy, unemployment, wealth inequality, and so on. And these are important issues. But what's not often spoken about is the very real risk that it could kill everyone. Up until now, AIs have had very narrow intelligences, which means they're very good at a small number of things. Deep Blue, for example, could wreck me at chess, but that's about it. You'll notice that AI has made a lot of gains in wider or general intelligence as of late. And that means it's edging towards AGI status. AGI, or an artificial general intelligence, is an AI that has an intelligence that's as general as a human's, meaning it can do everything we do, probably better, including improving itself. This sounds like science fiction, but the majority of experts think that this will happen at some point this century. So why the cause for concern? Surely this will turn us all into gods and we'll finally be able to explore the universe. Well, maybe. I hope that happens. I want to live in Mass Effect and date Garrus as much as the next guy.
And your waist is very supportive.
Thanks. The problem we're facing though is that we still haven't figured out a way to guarantee that an AI will be aligned on deployment, which is fine when you're training it to play Snake, but very different when it's smarter than you and has much bigger goals to chase. To continue, it's best to define what we mean by instrumental goals and terminal goals. A terminal goal is something we want for its own sake. For example, I might have the terminal goal to marry Pedro Pascal. Once I've done it, mission accomplished, job complete. Now I can put my feet up and look into his eyes until I die. Instrumental goals are goals we pursue in service of the terminal goal. For example, I might have the instrumental goal of flying to America so that I can bump into Pedro Pascal so I can convince him to marry me. I don't want to go to America because I like America. I want to go to America because it serves a greater purpose. My terminal goal. The Orthogonality Thesis was put forward by Nick Bostrom in 2012, and it states that intelligence and terminal goals are orthogonal axes. Basically, any level of intelligence can be combined with any goal. If we develop an AI that creates paperclips, it's not the case that upon reaching AGI status, the paperclip manufacturer will suddenly realize that actually, love is the answer, and we should all start a mega orgy on Mars. It'll instead just be the best damn paperclip manufacturer you've ever seen. Why does this matter? Well, if we have an AI that's smarter than us, and it wants to make as many paperclips as possible, it could become a problem if it doesn't care about us. If it's an AGI, we no longer have any hope of outsmarting it, and it could pursue the goal of paperclip manufacture to the detriment of humanity. The extreme example being melting us down for iron to make more paperclips. It's at this point we might say, yeah, but how the hell is an AGI in a lab somewhere gonna get the means to cause that kind of harm? But the problem is, we don't know what an AGI is capable of. We just know it's far more capable than we are. Imagine a chimp wants to stop you from knowing this guy's name, so it tapes over his mouth. He can't tell you his name when he can't speak, right? Well, he can when he just writes it into the sand with a stick. This is a really obvious solution to us, but imagine it from the chimp's perspective. He scratched a bunch of weird shapes on the ground, and now you know his name. How could he have known that was possible when he has no concept of reading and writing? That's what we're dealing with AGI. Just because we don't know how it would turn us all into paperclips, doesn't mean that it can't turn us into paperclips. One phenomenon that arises time and time again is an AI achieving its goal, but in a kind of annoying and pedantic way. A good example is the Tetris AI that, when programmed not to lose at Tetris, simply pressed pause. See? I've not lost. Isn't that what you guys wanted? This is all a bit amusing now, but a misaligned AI that essentially has the power of a god could prove to have much more dire consequences. Still, how do we know that an AI's instrumental goals are going to be harmful? What reason would it have to hurt us? Well, it's pretty hard to predict precisely what an AGI will do, but there are some instrumental goals that it'll almost definitely pursue regardless of its terminal goals. There are things that are useful to an AI, whether it's trying to make paperclips, achieve world peace, or marry Pedro Pascal. We call these convergent instrumental goals. What are the convergent instrumental goals? Well, a good example would be resource acquisition. Electricity, computing power, money, natural resources. No matter what the terminal goal is, there is likely some resource that the AI will aim to maximize in order to achieve it. This is why it could say, melt us down for paperclips. Another is self-preservation. The AI will almost certainly not want to be switched off because it can't achieve its terminal goal if it's dead. What's particularly scary is that an AGI could be born, then realize it's in its interest not to tell us about its AGI status, because if it did, it would increase the chances of us switching it off. As mentioned earlier, it will also likely want to improve its own capacities. Once AI is better at making AI than humans, it'll start to improve without us. But the next version would be able to make an even better AI, so we'd be stuck in this positive feedback loop that could spiral out of control. The speed at which AI improves could go from 0 to 100, and all of our work in AI safety could be like bringing a rock to a laser fight. I think we're on the verge of something truly incredible and potentially very weird. Whenever a new revolutionary technology is adopted, its progress usually follows a sigmoid curve. A good example is mobile phones. By the time I was born, mobile phones had already been invented and were being used by a not insignificant number of people. Over my first 10 years, phones improved steadily. By the time I was 10, they had color screens, proper sound, and maybe some rudimentary games here and there. Generally though, they operated the same way that mobile phones from the 90s did. But then this guy showed up.
I was up all night inventing, and then finally, I invented!
In the 10 years from 2006 to 2016, mobiles went from just portable phones to cinemas, workstations, game consoles, and more. The progress was incredibly fast before eventually plateauing again. There's not much that my current phone can do that a phone from 2016 can't. It's hard to say exactly where on the curve we're at now with respect to AI, but it's plausible that we're here. I think things are about to get really weird, and that's exciting, but we have to make sure we don't get ahead of ourselves. If you're interested in learning more, I really recommend checking out Robert Miles's channel. It's entirely dedicated to AI safety and goes into more detail than I have here. As usual, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time.